All right, everyone. Last night, of course, YouTube's Twitter went viral. It's funny that Google's subsidiary's Twitter page, technically a competitor of Google's services in some aspects, they ended up going viral there because of a tweet that was made. And it was, I believe, roses are red, violets are blue, subscribe to black creators. I guess this is like, it's the middle of Black History Month, February. And so they're like, well, subscribe to black creators and this will be good PR for us somehow. Not so much. It didn't go over so well. You see, here's the thing. YouTube was built as a platform in which people were not being artificially jerry-rigged into positions of popularity because they happen to fulfill some sort of status. A racial status, their gender, what their beliefs specifically are. There was no political bias or anything. Politics, honestly, was an afterthought on YouTube until around the Ron Paul era. That's when it starts to get big. Before that, it was basically cat videos, music videos, here I'm going to pull this prank, and then stuff that was meant to be offensive, like a Tourette's guy, like a bum fight, something like that. That was really what went viral on YouTube, or independently made music. That was a big thing. And copyright infringement, which became a problem. People plopping documentaries. I can remember back when they didn't have a problem with that. I had an Atlantis documentary actually on this channel for some time. When I saw the DMCA stuff beginning to happen, I took it down despite the fact I think it had almost 1 million views total on it, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I mean, it was insane. The Wally George interviews and stuff, I had to take those down. Those had 6-figure totals. But YouTube itself, at the time, until fairly recently, until around, the post-Ron Paul era, certainly, and especially until around late 2015, going into the election season, that's really when it happens. YouTube didn't display any significant political bias. I mean, it's kind of obvious that there was always a political belief system there, but until the platform was really geared into political chat and social chats and philosophy and things, there was no reason to dick around with it. Now you've got them attempting to push this line on Twitter, and it blew up in their faces. And here's the thing. When you say black creators, when YouTube's Twitter page says subscribe to black creators, do you mean Jesse Lee Peterson? Do you mean Diamond and Silk? Do you mean Tree of Logic? Do you mean black creators that speak on political or social issues and are not part of the, hey, I'm black, hello, part of YouTube? Because that's a big part of it. With the political chats, people who are on the left. I'm assuming that you mean, no, subscribe to Al Sharpton, or subscribe to someone that Al Sharpton likes. I'm assuming that's probably what you mean, because I can't imagine, considering that they're suppressed from monetization, they're suppressed from trending, they're suppressed from related videos, they're suppressed in every possible way and occasionally get content strikes, like I believe Tree of Logic did. She got it, I think, removed a while ago, but she had a strike on her channel. These individuals probably are not the chosen ones that you would like to lead the black community, but there's no community to lead. That's not what YouTube is about. YouTube is about, hey, I sit here with a webcam and make whatever I want to make. Here, I've got interesting music that I recorded. I'm going to put it on YouTube. That's what YouTube was built by. That's what continues to thrive on YouTube. And despite over a year of attempts to manipulate algorithms and suppress content and interject its own apparent political beliefs into the spectrum of YouTube itself, largely that attempt has failed. What I've seen is that the sort of the dark underbelly of YouTube, as the Wall Street Journal will call it, which means people with political opinions outside of the core of the establishment, people who don't respect the media, people who don't respect Mitt Romney or Nancy Pelosi. There's something wrong with them. The people who were more quickly rising in the past, now all of a sudden we're like lepers according to parts of big tech, and certainly according to the legacy media. The people who lean into the ear, like, the little devil on your shoulder sort of thing that used to be in like Disney cartoons. You'd have the angel on one shoulder is telling Daffy Duck, not to kick his dog or attack and kill his neighbor. And then the little devil's like, but it'll be so fun. You can turn them into beef jerky and eat them. And so YouTube is listening to that little devil, which is the yellow journalists, essentially. The New York Times, New York Slimes, the Wall Street Journal, which doesn't even do journalism, and all of these groups, and is attempting to censor and suppress people. And that includes black creators. Look, YouTube has abused black creators too. That's a big problem. I don't think you even understand. YouTube can come out and say, well, we celebrate black creators. It's just a PR move. It's to get people aboard and try to convince them. that the brand is noble and moral and you know, we love our creators and it's all a love fest. That's not the way a company works. A company ultimately stabs other companies in the back and attempts to maximize profit. YouTube itself doesn't run a profit. YouTube is a subsidiary of Google that runs a lot of profits. They prop YouTube up because YouTube in turn generates profit in other endeavors that they do. It itself is deep in the red, hundreds of millions lost a year, but it props up every other good and service Google offers, and it's so popular that it helps people have more brand loyalty, I think. So it just makes fiscal sense to maintain it regardless of its profit margin being continuously a loss. I think they've lost over $1 billion owning YouTube so far. Well over several billion, I believe. It's a lot of money, but it helps them in everything else. But for their Twitter page, the funniest part being it was on their Twitter page. I mean, come on. So Twitter, a competing company, another big tech firm used in human communication. And this is where they put this little day, and it's not even like catchy or anything. This is roses, red, violets, blue. You know, Valentine's Day is sweet for, you know, YouTubers who happen to have a certain skin color. Well, when are you going to have, like, you know, a little thing on your Twitter for other historically marginalized groups? And I don't mean like female creators or gay, lesbian creators, some low-hanging fruit. I mean, when are you going to have a little thing there for pagan creators? Ooh, when's that going to be a thing? Or at this point, why not, you know, white, straight male creators who happen not to be on the left? You know, they're an endangered species, it seems, on some online platforms. You know, I can't be part of that because I'm not Christian, but... yeah, when's Pagan Creators Day? When's Pagan Creators Week, where we get to tell people on YouTube, you're going to put us up next and have us featured, and we can talk about how much we love Thor and Odin's, you know, dick basically being the central aspect of a religion. Or Zeus. You know, Zeus was, you know, similarly a generative god of sorts. Why don't we talk about Zeus? Now, I think that some opinions on YouTube are no longer even allowed, to the point where a black creator, they come along like, oh, YouTube likes black creators, well, I'll make some content. Then they find out that their political views aren't part of that hegemony of the establishment, and they get abused. Oh, well, everything I make is demonetized. It's all in restricted mode. 10 people watched it because, you know, and also new creators. You know, a lot of people, they're getting suppressed too. They have to get to certain thresholds to even make a penny off of Google. Now, I've used the example before that people that are under that threshold probably aren't going to make any money anyway. If they're taking ad revenue, it's going to take them years to get a single $100 payout, basically. You know, you talk to people and it's like that. But it's all in principle. It's all in principle. It's optics, really. It's PR. It's strategy. YouTube, it's a poor strategy for YouTube to attempt to take a platform wherein most of the users remember it as a platform where nobody was pushed, nobody was promoted, and nobody was demoted for the most part, unless it was strictly against TOS what they were doing. You've transformed that, or you're attempting to, into a platform in which certain individuals are the chosen, the beautiful children, and everybody else is you know, part of some other caste. It's a YouTube caste system. In the most literal sense, you have your priority creators. That's the establishment. That's the highest rung. They can do anything. They never get banned. Jimmy Kimmel never has to worry about getting a content strike. Even if he were to re-upload somebody else's content that was put in limited state, his wouldn't get put in limited state. It wouldn't even be demonetized. So there's your highest caste. There's the priority creators. Then you have like the verified partner accounts at high levels, a PewDiePie or something. They're kind of beautiful children, but they don't have quite as many privileges because they don't have billion-dollar multinational corporations to back them and to pay YouTube for streaming bundles. Then you have people who have kind of made it, but, you know, their content's too edgy, so they can't be a partner now. Even if they don't break the TOS, they can still be prevented from being a partner at this point. It used to be contingent largely upon, hey, your content hasn't broken any rules. Now it's more, hey, your content is unoffensive, like whatever that means. So it's a total cop-out. And then you have the lowest caste people who, they're not part of any of that, like they're smaller on the platform. There's 99% of your platform. YouTube's basically telling them their opinion doesn't matter. YouTube even tells people like me, part of maybe that second highest caste there and doing okay, it wouldn't care about my opinion either. Like, I'm never going to get Twitter's, you know, the YouTube Twitter page is probably not going to front any of my material. It's too edgy. He's too controversial. The Wall Street Journal says that he has something in common with uber scary conspiracy theorist. Ooh, you know, spooky woo material. The Right Wing Watch says that he has far-right tendencies. He's a Nazi gatekeeper. Therefore, we can't touch that issue. So basically, if you want someone not to succeed as much on YouTube, just character assassinate them. Basically, you've incentivized people being defamed. Users on your platform that have made it big, that speak about, edgy issues, touchy topics. You've incentivized other groups that compete with them directly to defame them. I wonder if YouTube understands that. So meanwhile, CNN's ghost town of a page can keep churning out bullcrap material that anyone else put it on there. With some of the titles and some of the content that's there, it'd be put in limited state. At the very least, it wouldn't be monetized. They have no problem. They're a priority account. They would never, break any TOS. They would never do anything wrong. Flagging it has no impact. They've basically decided that certain groups, by virtue of having been established before YouTube existed, have an automatic pass to do whatever they want. Everyone else gets to suffer. And meanwhile, YouTube's going to insert its bias into the situation and say, well, subscribe to black creators. If you on some other day of some other month said, oh, roses are red, violets are blue, subscribe to white people, what do you think the fallout from that would be? But they're fundamentally exactly the same. There is no difference, unless you're saying there's a difference between white and black people. It's a big difference according to YouTube. Well, I don't think it would go over very well if you were to say that either. Unless you dance around using very flowery, very happy language and something about historically marginalized. But we're talking about YouTube. We're not talking about life at large in the real world of people walking down the street getting racially profiled. We're talking about fucking YouTube. And again, what about those black creators that aren't part of the special children that you choose to promote? What about a black YouTuber who isn't making some Creators for Change video about how we need reparations or here's a brief history of slavery? How about someone who talks about contemporary issues, doesn't blame others for their problems? Somebody says, no, I don't even believe in affirmative actions. Again, like a tree of logic. Diamond and Silk, the MAGA girls. No, they're never going to get featured. No, they can go as viral as they want. They'll never hit the trending page. I've been on the trending page exactly once in my entire time on YouTube. And that was I believe, during the election. The reason I was trending then is I wasn't yet big enough, I guess, for anyone to try to manipulate algorithms to keep me from trending. But I mean, at this point, I probably never... Warski, he hits #1 in live streaming. Oh, that'll never probably happen again. At some point, somebody's going to shut that down. They'll say, well, his views are too out there. He's not one of the special children. We can't allow him to trend anymore. It's becoming a problem on the platform. It's very strange. It's strange to me. YouTube would come out in response to other people's responses to something like this and try to cast them all off as racist. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with YouTube being built as a platform where this sort of stuff didn't happen. Leave that to Facebook. Let Facebook do the happy social justice, social engineering stuff. YouTube doesn't need to. It already has. People create everything on YouTube. Everything that is on YouTube that is being watched, that is being shared and liked and replicated and talked about is being made by private individuals. Very, very little of the content on this platform has anything to do with some establishment company. So why don't you just let people be at peace and choose what they think, outside of manipulation and pushing and bias, decide what they think is, should be shared out, should be more popular. I think I'll share this to my audience of 1 million people because I find it interesting. To the point, at this point, where being one of those special priority children, even if you're a tiny creator, if you get put in that special status, it would be more beneficial to your career than if PewDiePie were to tweet about you 10 times a day. Despite the fact that he's got an audience numbering in the tens of millions. You wouldn't pick up as fast as you would with just some random establishment group decides that they like you and says, hey, you want to be trending all the time even though your videos suck. You're totally talentless, but you say the right things and you look right, so we're just going to put you on trending and up next in every related video. Everything's going to be about you. You'll be a star. You'd be a boring star that no real person cares about, but we're going to push your material to the same mind-numb horde that got on YouTube and made maybe Justin Bieber famous. We're going to push you to those people. YouTube should take a hands-off approach to such things. If it doesn't want to hurt its own brand, it can think that it's helpful all at once. When people like me complain about it, it's not because we have a stick up our ass. Look, I use YouTube every single day. It's not like I hate the company, but I hate what it's becoming. The possibility of YouTube screwing itself, yeah, bothers me because, you know, I've kind of made a name for myself on YouTube. I use it to push my literature. I use it to talk about what I actually believe in. So thinking about it being destroyed, some people, they'll very bitterly say, oh, that'd be great because we just use BitChute or something. All of those companies operate right now at a loss too. That would be a little problematic. You wouldn't have a video hosting service. You know what you would end up doing? Facebook video. Or Amazon, you know, video hosting services. Amazon apparently is considering jumping into it. I can't wait to see what actually arises from that. Maybe people who have made it on other platforms will be invited to have some sort of special, you know, priority status there too. Jimmy Kimmel can go be on Amazon. You know, he should go be on Amazon. Leave us alone on YouTube. We don't want Jimmy Kimmel guy. If we want Jimmy Kimmel, we'll turn on the on-demand network. We'll go and Hulu you. You know, for all the good it'll do, you just melt your mind into a puddle. That's about all. Peace out.